Hey everyone, welcome to Morning Matcha. Today's guest is Vanessa Fitzgerald, who is the founder of VeesHoney, and they do something called nutrition response testing, and I'm going to let you explain what that is.
Thanks for having me. Nutrition response testing works with the body's autonomic nervous system, so it's a form of muscle testing. It's just that we make sure that the nervous system is in alignment, essentially, first and foremost. So what we do is we search for the underlying causes of symptoms by testing organ strength. And then we help rebuild the body using whole food supplements and homeopathic remedies to help strengthen organs and detox whatever is upsetting the organ.
Awesome. So I'm assuming that helps with things, all kinds of things, including allergies and...
Yeah, anything chronic, from anxiety and depression to autoimmune disorders to IBS to allergies, anything and everything.
So how did you get into all this? I want to hear more about you and your story.
Well, I got into nutrition response testing because I was a patient of it when I was living in New York. I discovered nutrition response testing and it changed my life single-handedly. And so I just decided that I wanted to dedicate my life to that. I've always been passionate about health and wellness. It's just that growing up, it wasn't as trendy as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a way to make money. And because of that, I just did, every other classic job trying to make money and figure out how to make money doing what I'm most passionate about. And that's when I discovered this practice.
What did you go into it for? What was going on when you needed to find nutrition response testing?
So I have polycystic ovary syndrome, and 1 in every 5 women have it. So that was something chronic that I had to begin with. I was also experiencing a lot of low-key anxiety, depression going on. But what really pushed me to go was that I went to the top Harvard eye doctor in New York, and he's so celebrated because I had this, it felt like a film on my eye.
Oh, interesting.
And he told me I had the beginning of cataracts, and at age 25.
Whoa.
And so aside from cutting into my eyeball, I was like, this can't be. If this can start, how can it not be reversed?
Mm-hmm.
The body is doing this to me, so how can I help the body heal? So I went on this quest. I was Googling nutrition and whatnot. And then I went into my holistic chiropractor who I'd been seeing since I was at NYU. And she had all of these supplements on the wall all of a sudden. I was like, what is this stuff? And she said, I've been going to school for this new thing called nutrition response testing that I found. And I said, do you think that this can help me? And she goes, actually, I do. And I started with her, and within 3 weeks, my eyes were 20/20 vision.
Whoa.
I had nothing wrong with them.
That's wild. That's
no
so
cataracts.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I know part of your story includes coming off Adderall.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come into, when you studied? Was it before, after?
That came way after I studied, because after I studied, I didn't really go into becoming a practitioner. Laying your hands on people all day and working with people, it takes a lot of fortitude, and it also takes a lot of, you have to have done the work yourself.
Yeah.
And I was not even close to that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to detox off Adderall because I was on it for 13 years.
I was on it too. So I was really fascinated when you were talking about it. Because not a lot of people are sharing about it. And I think,
because it's a shameful drug. A lot of people are ashamed to be on the drug. So what happens with Adderall is, so I was taking it for 13 years, and I woke up one day when I turned 30 years old and realized that my life wasn't where I wanted it to be. I didn't have a career at the time. I was lost in between jobs.
Mm-hmm.
My boyfriend had just broken up with me. I was staying at my mom's at the time, and I woke up and I was like, what? I've done all the work, all of the life coaching and the therapy and all of the plant medicines. I've done all the things. Why is my life not where I want it to be? I'm in my own way. And so I was reaching over to grab the Adderall because that's what I took to get out of bed every morning. And I realized this was the one thing I hadn't broken up with. So I decided to stop taking it and I started filming myself. I didn't share it though for 4 days because I was so ashamed. Nobody knew. My mom didn't know. Friends didn't know. No one knew. Only like whoever I was dating at the time would know that I was on Adderall, but nobody cared. And I felt like I was living a lie.
Or,
yeah. And I felt like I was living a lie. And so I decided to share my story. And I told like my mom beforehand and she was really supportive. And I told some of my friends and they're all very supportive and shocked. Because I didn't look like, you know, a crackhead running around, but it's how I functioned every single day.
Yeah. And taking that away, you're just like in bed. You just crash fully.
So I had tried before to wean off and I would have those crashes, but this time I did it very strategically. I had a support system in place and I was very meticulous about what I ate. I cut alcohol out of my diet, alcohol, marijuana, any sort of substance out of my diet. And I just really focused on healing myself. And then that set me up for success.
That's awesome. Yeah. I kind of had a similar experience where after college, I was like, this is the one thing I haven't gotten off of, along with like birth control. And that was kind of what set me up to go down this path of really diving into healing but still the food thing, I was like, if I can figure out what helps me naturally, then maybe I don't need this. And I went to culinary school for raw food and kind of went into all that, which the raw food thing wasn't good for me personally, but it was great. It was a great like thing to get into right after to keep.
Did you go to Matthew Kinney school?
Yeah, it was fun. And that's actually how I met David, who helps us at the Fullest and
amazing.
Is a big part of the Fullest. So it's all been really fun. I love what all the restaurants and what they've created with the plant-based culinary school. Super cool. Did you ever go there? Or?
No, I'm friends with Matthew, so I love what he's created. But again, like raw food for me is like a fun treat almost.
I know. Well, digesting it is so hard because it's super dense and like that was a whole thing. But it taught me so much about nutrition and just like purity, I would say, of foods. And because they don't allow like any sort of additives, obviously. And so when you start to read the back of labels, it's just, you know, super empowering. But I became super extreme. And so that's kind of what I'm passionate about, is sharing with people to just use wellness as a form of like doing things that make you happy and not taking it to such an extreme. But also I love that you're offering, like I want to learn more about what you're offering because I think it's important to find different ways to diagnose things. And that works, that may work for some people and might not work for other people. So I'm curious, like, what are the sorts of things when people come to you? Are they already super open? Do they know that this is the type of work that you do? Or are they kind of like, what is this nonsense? I don't believe it. Like, what do you come across?
No, I only get people, because I don't advertise. It's only Instagram or word of mouth. So people come to me because I am their last resort. The medical system has failed them. Other practitioners haven't done the job. So they come to me completely open. The ones that are not open, I have a conversation with right off the bat. And I tell them this may not be the right fit for you, which always they come back at me. No, this is the right fit.
Yeah.
Because you have to be open. Energy is real. If you're going to believe that something's not going to work, it's not going to work. If you're going to believe every single day that you're going to get cancer, guess what? You're probably going to get cancer.
Yeah.
So the mind is a very powerful thing. So you have to come in with an open mind. But yeah, no, I see people come to me because they're not well, whatever it is, whether it's chronic bloating, every doctor tells them they have SIBO. It could be anything, anxiety, depression, that they've been on depression meds since they were 12, 13, you know, things like that. So people just come to me because they're fed up. I don't diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure. I just help the body heal itself.
I love that. I mean, it takes so much courage to be a practitioner helping others when they're going through chronic illness and also have something like depression. I mean, it's terrifying, I'm assuming, to be someone who's like, they're coming to for support and there's so much liability, but then you have all this knowledge that you want to share. Like, what's that like?
Well, it's hard because as much as you're the first person to be celebrated when things go right, you're also the first person to be blamed. As far as it comes to like detoxing off of SSRIs or like any sort of benzodiazepine like Xanax, Ativan, whatever, that I work with their doctors hand in hand. Their doctors are on board. I'm on board. I see them weekly. We wean them off weekly. I support where the deficit lies, and we work that way together.
That's awesome.
I also usually bring in another doctor who helps structurally realign them so that their spine's operating and so their nervous system is high functioning. That's how we get people off of those kinds of medications. But no, yeah, I don't ever really get scared. I have had to learn how to have a thick skin and be bulletproof. So when people come in, you know, a lot of times when people are, even just if you're driving and somebody is being a dick on the road, it's because it's their own stuff. It's not you. That's how it is anytime. Like you're in line to get coffee and the cashier is like so rude to you, and that's because it's their own shit. It's not yours. So you have to sort of realize that and also be empathetic at the same time, which is really hard to do because as human beings, like just because we're going through our own stuff doesn't give us the right to take it out on others.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people are paying me to help them. And I just have to be fully cognizant of what they're going through and sit there and remind myself that it is not about me in that moment. It is 100% about them. And I don't ever have scary things. One time I had a girl who was struggling with like anxiety, and I thought she had one week I saw her, she was in a real mess. And then she has never been late for an appointment. In fact, she's early and she just completely missed her appointment. So that's when I got nervous and I called her, but she was just late and she was coming.
Oh my gosh, that's literally the only thing?
The only thing.
That's crazy.
Otherwise, I don't get worried. My clients I keep telling them, like, I'm here for you. Like, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm fully accessible. I mean, not like they can call me all the time, but they can email me anytime. And we check the email all the time, whether it's myself or my assistant. If there's something alarming, my assistant notifies me. So,
right now, when someone comes to you, it's strictly just what you were telling us. That's how you work with people, like on a weekly basis. Like if I were to come to you, how does it work?
I have to see you weekly for the first 12 weeks. And then we see how your body responds. And then we figure out how to space out your appointments afterwards. But since you come to me, your body's like an onion, right? So you've built, X amount of years, layers of crap. So I have to peel back the layers to get to the root cause of what's happening. So that's what happens every week you come to see me.
Okay. So what do you think about everything that's going on with like 5G and just, I don't know if I just watched a documentary called Frankenskies. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's all about like the spraying in the atmosphere. So I'm super passionate about starting to talk about that, like chemtrails, because it sounds like a conspiracy theory. But after watching this documentary, I mean, I think everyone agrees that and knows that it's something that is being done. But I think the conspiracy is that it's being done to like poison us, whereas it's actually being done to combat global warming because they're afraid that we're not quick enough in terms of like just our usage of like fossil fuels and plastics and all those things. Obviously, we're contributing so much to the environment. And so they think that by spraying, we're less likely to be like absorbing the heat from the sun.
I haven't heard that theory yet. So here's the thing with chemtrails. I've known about this since I was 26, since I started school, because the woman that I apprenticed under was really big into chemtrails. There's still a lot of naysayers out there that are like, it's not science backed, this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
I think chemtrails are they're just testing out chemicals. They're testing out chemicals, whether it's pesticides or
aluminum.
Yeah, any sort of something to help speed up the process of growing something or preventing something from happening, like mold or I don't know, like things like that.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah, whatever it is. I don't think has anything to do with global warming, but that's one theory. That's just my opinion, though. I don't think that they're helping global warming by spraying stuff into the ozone.
Yeah, that's like legit their agenda, that they're doing it for us. But like no matter whatever
Yeah.
the theory is, it's affecting us.
Of course, it's
And
affecting us negatively.
yeah.
So that's why when clients come to see me, they get very frustrated because I pull up, you know, a new toxic chemical or metal in them every week, and they just get very frustrated, some of them. So this is the way that we manage them. We wake up every single day and we're in a battlefield every day. And that's just how it is. And that's how it's going to be progressing forward with the 5G and the way the world is going and the faster and the more and the whatever it is. We're going to be living longer, but we're going to be living much sicker. So that being said, it's about minimizing where we can. So get filters for your bath and your shower and your tap so that you reduce the amount of heavy metals and chlorine and toxic chemicals going into your system. Don't drink tap water. Try and detoxify all the products in your house. Things like that. Small little movements you can make towards being cleaner.
Yeah.
You know, it's like pick your poisons. We can't control what's sprayed in the air. There's no way. It's just, they're going to keep spraying regardless. It's just like everything else that we are exposed to.
I know.
You can try and fight against it, but nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
It'll take years and years and years and years, and you'd be dead by then.
So how do you detox from what are good ways to detox from heavy metals or aluminum and also protect yourself from 5G? Because all I know is zeolite.
Zeolite's great. Zeolite's my number one. Chlorophyll, spirulina, chlorella. Chlorella is really great. Chlorophyll
I forgot about
and
all
chlorella
the
are
greens.
really
Yeah.
great. Chlorophyll is a great binder for heavy metals, but you have to have something in your system to break up those heavy metals. So
like what?
Like zeolite.
Okay.
Zeolite's great because it acts like a honeycomb. So it goes in and it like kind of attaches itself to it and binds it and helps release it. So I'd say zeolite with some chlorophyll would be great. But it's not that everybody needs to be taking that every single day. That's the hard thing, you know. As zeolite's great to take every day, yes, but I would cycle it. I wouldn't, you know, our bodies get tired of ingesting the same thing over and over and over again.
That's a really good tip because right now I'm on like my zeolite and glutathione, and then, but I naturally feel like people get bored of doing the same thing every day anyway, so you naturally are looking for alternatives. But
glutathione is something benign like a vitamin C that you can take every day. But zeolite, since it's a detoxifier, I wouldn't, you know, do like a month on and then take a few weeks off and then month on again, you know, that type of thing.
So when you pick up these heavy metals in your clients, and what do you normally do? Like you give them something like zeolite, or what are some other ways that you work with them? Is it energetics?
No, so I give them whole food supplements and homeopathic remedies designed for their system to get it out. So I'm not actually giving them zeolite. I give zeolite to my phone clients who I can't test.
Yeah.
It's just as effective, but this is like stuff that's actually fully targeted for their specific issues.
Yeah, for their nervous system. That's so cool.
Yeah. So different people, like even like their blood type can handle certain supplements as opposed to others.
So what are you most passionate about? I mean, you share so much on VeesHoney with people, and what is the message that you want to get out there to people?
For me, it's just to inspire hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is possibility for change. There is possibility for healing. You just have to believe in it. And, you know, it is true that like a healthier life is a happier life. Whether that looks like just waking up and smiling in the mirror every day, that makes a difference. But it's the hopelessness that kills me. So it's just to inspire hope, because that's all you really need to even heal one cell in your body.
Yeah, it's so true. And do you feel like, I mean, in that, you've been there, right? Like in that moment when you were 30 and you wanted to get off Adderall and your life didn't look the way you wanted, did you feel hopeless? Or, I mean, obviously
I had
you
already
had
gone through, I mean,
yeah.
I think I felt hopeless more so like when I was detoxing off antidepressants and benzos and sleeping pills, like in my early 20s. Like that was a hopeless moment.
Oh my gosh.
And I felt hopeless a lot in my teens. Like life is just over. It's not going to get any better. So I can completely relate and empathize with every client that comes in and they're just like, what is the point of life, basically?
How did that turn around for you? Was it just the curiosity of like these other things like plant medicines and life coaching and just trying new things, or was it a mindset shift?
I would just constantly look for courage. And to me, courage was confident people just crushing it at life. And rather than being upset and angry that I'm not them, it was, how can I be like them? How can I emulate them? Half the time, people on Instagram are just scrolling for courage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's so great about the platform is that there are some great role models and courageous leaders on there. There are also there's a lot of crap out there that makes you feel like shit. That's why you got to be very careful about who you follow and what you look at.
Yeah.
But that's what I would do is I would look at people that I wanted to emulate and I'm like, they can't possibly be on a cocktail prescription drugs. Why do I have to be?
Mm-hmm.
So I just really fought. You have to fight for your health. You have to be your own health. Nobody cares about you as much as you do. So if you don't start caring for yourself or believing that there's a better way, then you're screwed. That's just how it is. Even if you go to the doctor's office, they don't really care about you. They're doing their job.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do the best job that they can. They care to see that they're succeeding at helping you get well, but they're not going to like go home at night and like sit there
and worry about you.
Yeah, and worry about you. You know, I used to do that when I first started and I realized, practitioner, you cannot do that. It will make me sick.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be able to cut it off at the end of the day and transition. And sometimes I have those clients that just get me and I think about it. But at the end of the day, we have to turn it off because we have our own lives to worry about.
How do you turn it off?
There's different, being in the holistic world, a lot of us smudge ourselves, we'll burn sage, we'll do a lot of female practitioners like to get in their femininity and do something feminine, whether it's a sort of movement or a bath or something like that. Ground yourself. So touch something that is actually solid into the earth. Go outside barefoot, that type of thing. Sit and meditate for a minute. Sit and stare at the wall if you need to. I have a colonic lady who just, her technique of zoning out is literally going home, sitting on the couch, staring at the wall and having a glass of wine.
I love it.
And that's it. And like she'll just stare at the wall for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And it just sort of like helps her meditate it out of her system.
That's nice. I love that you're like, you know what she does. I'm sure you ask people.
I ask everybody because like you're touching people. That's an energy exchange. Mm-hmm. Everything is energy. You believe in electricity. You believe in energy.
Do you do it in between clients then?
No, because I usually try and schedule them as back to back as I can. And then when I do have a break, I'm doing something on email or that type of thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't wait. I really want to come in and try that out. I've never done it before. I mean, I've done muscle testing, but I think what you're talking about is a lot different than anything I've ever experienced.
Yeah, it's a lot different because muscle testing can be inaccurate if you're not testing the nervous system.
Oh my gosh. Well, I gotta come in.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
Yeah, my pleasure.